another end game that I thought that was going, as we go back to the main event, is the Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal fight. Masvidal, I'll applaud his effort, dude. He took the fight on 6 days' notice, cut 20 pounds, which is incredible feat in itself. I'm always the guy that would say don't do something that drastic, but if you can, go for it.
You know, when you're watching that fight, the first round was by far the best round for Jorge Masvidal. Like, he came out,
then he kind of just tapered off.
He looked good, and then you realize just how bad the 20 pounds to lose in 6 days was, how ridiculous it was to take this style of a fight on 6 days against a grappler like Usman. And you know what? Everybody's all up in arms like, oh, Usman's boring. Oh, Usman's this. But again,
he stuck to a game plan, didn't he?
I've said this a thousand times. Okay? When you fight mixed martial arts, it is mixed martial arts. Wrestling is a form of that martial art.
But it's foot stomps?
It is what it is. If you're unable to break somebody's will of what he's doing to you, that is on you.
He does it.
What happened here was Usman had a game plan for Burns. He had to try to switch it up, mentally prepare for a slugger like Jorge Masvidal. Well, shoot, if I'm Usman, it's like,
I'm not getting into a slugfest with Jorge Masvidal.
But at the end of the day,
way.
Like, bro, like, I'm a wrestler.
Right.
I'm going to do what I need to do. Randy Couture did it for years. So what makes it different?
DC has done it for years up until recently, where you grind somebody out on the cage.
Usman does it.
And they call him the boringest fighter in the world.
He's the one that destroyed Tyrone Woodley.
When he needed to.
He's the one that broke the face of Colby Covington.
When he needed to.
And that's probably why we didn't see Colby Covington on Fight Island versus Usman, because Usman embarrassed him. So he's not that boring of a fighter. He's a smart fighter. He adapts and changes to who's in front of him. I don't hear people saying that GSP is a boring fighter, but yet GSP fought the exact same way. GSP stood there and traded with people who he knew he felt comfortable with. And then he took down fighters
when he needed to.
He knew that he wasn't comfortable standing there and striking.
Yep.
But yet nobody was quick to say, oh, George St. Pierre. No. But it's Usman. Usman, you're boring. Like, bro, go look at his fights.
The only critique I have about Usman in that fight is the fact that the amount of grinding against that cage and the only offensive weapon he used was the foot stomp. That's my only gripe. Like, I love the wrestling. I love the game plan. I love the mindset. The issue I personally had was the fact that he got him up at the cage like half a dozen times, and then he landed like what? 1 billion foot stomps to the guy's foot. Hardly did he land anything that was like being extremely offensive in that category. He just didn't. And that's kind of to the point where, like, I can understand where the boring aspect comes into play, because I'm good with, if you're going to wrestle and you're going to do your job, I'm good with it. But man, there's just sometimes that Usman fights and I'm just left scratching my head trying to figure out, I see your game plan. I see what you're trying to do. But there's just sometimes that he almost fights as if he's more scared than he is in there to win, if that makes sense. Like, he's not necessarily, you know what? He's the COVID-19 of MMA fighters. There you go. That's what he is. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Pro mask, not pro mask. Pro foot stomps, not pro foot stomps. Pro grinding, not pro grinding.
You know, pro grinding just sounded completely
Sean,
inappropriate.
don't take it that way.
I'm just sorry.
Do not take it that way.
That are going to listen
don't
to this
take it that way.
Wow,
you took it that way.
That's the way you intended it to be.
No, Sean, but it's funny, right? You think about it. COVID-19, the new nickname for Kamaru Usman should be COVID-19, because he fought exactly how this world is right now, completely divided, straight down the middle. issues on both sides.
And that's exactly it. You're going to find your issues with Kamaru Usman in this situation, and it is what it is. But you can't say that he's a boring fighter because Randy Couture did the same thing. DC
Several fighters have done it.
GSP did the same thing. So it is what it is.
Man.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Anybody in Usman's shoes taking a random fight on 6 days and flying all the way to Abu Dhabi, it is what it is. It is what it is. And then you look at Masvidal, it's like you got to run it back. You have to give Masvidal an opportunity to redeem himself on a full fight camp going forward.
100% prepared.
Because of the fact that he was so game
Yep.
to take this fight, you've got to reward him. And then everybody's going to go, oh, what about Gilbert Burns? What about Leon Edwards?
See, you could give...
Well, then, hey.
You could give them both.
So,
like, you could go Usman and Burns or Usman and Edwards.
No.
And then give...
No.
Jorge Masvidal,
No, just
Nate
stop.
Diaz.
Just stop.
Why?
You run it back.
You really want that fight to happen first before Burns and Edwards.
It has to happen. And then you've got to put Burns with Edwards as the number one contender bout. That's the route you have to go. I know that you could say, oh, well, Burns was awarded the title fight shot. But I get it. But Edwards is waiting in the wings too. You've got to run it back for Masvidal. It's only fair.
See, that's the one thing I don't like.
It doesn't matter. You made this bed. You have to lie in it now. You made this commitment to Masvidal to run this on 6 days' notice.
Right.
You owe it to him. If you do not run it back for a number 2, then there will be all sorts of other issues that comes down the pipe. If you thought him on social media was him being adamant about pay, you're going to see something else from him. I'm almost 100% sure of it. If he does not get a fight back over Burns and everybody else, it's just the way that I see it. But I mean, we could talk about UFC 251 all day.